Welcome to the Crimson Engine. My name is 𝙍𝙁𝙄𝙀. Today we are looking at the cheapest way to get a big, bright light source as close to your talent as possible to achieve that Hollywood cinematic, large key, soft look. So I have worked with and I own quite a few big soft lights. There is the Hudson Spider Mozzie, which I'm using here. There's the Intelitech Mega. They are great for getting a big 6-foot+ sized soft light source near talent, but the downside is that they cost a significant amount of money. How can you do this without spending $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 and up? Today we're going to look at the T-bar. This is a light stand or a C-stand with a horizontal crossbar and some diffusion fabric hung from it, which you then illuminate with a spotlight or 1x1 style light. And you can put as many lights through it as you have, so you can combine multiple lights for a unified light source. I have to say, I think it looks pretty good. It is a really smart, fast, quick way to get that big light source that you see in movies like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and pretty much any time Hollywood rolls out the big guns without spending very much money. Or you could even use a shop light for this from Home Depot or Mitre 10 or Bunnings, whatever country you're in. Before we take a look on how to set this up, if you're interested in these videos and you like the result that I'm able to get from these cameras, check out Canon Masterclass. I have masterclasses for a variety of Canon cinema cameras, pretty much all the Canon cinema cameras actually, from the C200 to the C70, C500 Mark II, and C300 Mark III. I go through all of the features of the cameras, focus, exposure, post-production, workflow, and there are more and more chapters being uploaded every couple of weeks. All right, let's dive in. The first thing you're gonna need is a C-stand or light stand that goes as high as you're gonna need your light to be. Now, it is really good to have a big 6x6 light like this above the level of the person's face. That's so that it gives this drop shadow under the chin and doesn't make the face appear too flat. It makes the features stand out. You definitely want it on the upstage side, so not the same side as the camera from the person's eye line, from the line. If it's easier, you can add a cutter underneath. This is called a meat axe, but there's a variety of different black materials that let you have a hard stop to the light so it doesn't bounce off the floor. Then you're gonna need a horizontal bar, probably in some kind of C-stand knuckle, that is gonna let you hang your fabric down. This is silent quarter grid cloth, which is gonna give you the most diffusion on your light. It's gonna spread the light out the most while losing the least amount of light as it passes through. You are definitely gonna get some bounce back from the light, so if you're in a white space like I am, you might want to put up some kind of blanket behind the light so it doesn't illuminate the walls and the ceiling with the bounce and wash out all your ratios, meaning it's gonna push up the fill level, so you'll have to turn down your stop in order to get the exposure that you want. Experiment with the distance that you have the light or lights from your diffusion. And if you're combining multiple lights, you could even send them through another diffusion fabric or bounce them off something silver so that you collectively make one big light source that then gets diffused at once, so you don't get multiple shadows in the light. I personally don't have a problem with multiple shadows in the light. I think that this makes it look more natural, makes it look more like it's look less lit, like deliberately lit, less like a movie and expose the artifice. I think this is a really nice touch to have multiple scenes. Another thing that is going to sell the illusion is to have another light source behind your subject of a similar color temperature, illuminating the background so that it doesn't look as though the person just happens to be in the only bright part of the room. That is also going to give away your, going to make it look like it's a stage and not, a real thing that's happening in front of people. The T-bar is a lot of fun. Something you have to be careful of is if you're doing it for a sitting subject, you end up having the T-bar sort of at eye level, and once you've clamped your fabric onto it, the points of your post can stick out and sort of be something that's easy for people to run into. So definitely put it above head height or below head height. Don't have it sitting around the level of someone's eye because people will run into it. If it has to be that high, put a warning or like a flag or put a tennis ball in the end of it. So if someone bangs into it, at least they won't lose an eye. I've used this on dozens and dozens of projects. I really like the way it looks. You cannot use it outside. The fabric blows around everywhere. I've tried stretching it to the ground and taping it down. It's just pretty much a sail. If you get more than the slightest gust of wind, it is gonna fall over, even if you sandbag the hell out of it. For that type of application, you definitely want to talk about some kind of 6x or 10x frame, a hard frame that's sandbagged, multiple stands. That's when, start getting into the big stuff. But in a studio, in interiors, you can get away with a lot. If you're limited for space, you can bounce your lights off the T-bar instead of pushing them through the T-bar. You can probably still use the same kind of diffusion, or you can use canvas if you prefer that. That is our look at the T-bar lighting system, a really beautiful light that you can get for not very much money, or a great way to get a big light source and use whatever light you have. Leave your questions in the comments. I'd like to know what you guys use, and I will see you next time.